Hey everyone, so today's video is going to be the last video to the Sally Slater DIY series. I'm going to show you how I DIY'd my Sally Slater skirt. I actually handmade a stencil and I also took that and hand painted the skirt as well. And I really love how the skirt came out. I think it looks adorable. And this outfit actually all put together, I've worn it not only to Dapper Day, but I've also worn it to different Halloween themed events. And I just think it looks adorable, and it's gonna just become a normal outfit as well in my wardrobe because it's just so cute. If you'd like to see how I DIY'd that skirt, stay tuned. First, you're going to want to grab a zip tie and you're going to pull it through to the size you'd like. Then you're going to want to pinch both ends of the loop in order to create a petal. Now, I had made one previously, but my camera had cut out, so I'm recreating it here for you. Then you're going to take a quarter and you're going to trace around that in order to make the circle. And then you will take the stencil we made earlier for the petal and you will trace inside that to start to create the petals for the flower. But this idea for the stencil for the petal, because I wanted it to be a consistent size and shape for all the petals around the flower, so I thought that this would be the perfect way to easily recreate it. Now you're going to want to trace the inside of the petal stencil around the flower center until it forms a full flower. I end up only doing 12 petals going around the flower center because I really wanted to accurately base it off of the painting of the tightrope walker skirt. Be sure to do this in pencil because then you could go back in and make any corrections and erase any mistakes later on, which I had to go back and do, but it's not that big of a deal because I used a pencil. And again, you're just going to want to keep going around the whole flower center until it creates an actual flower. Once all petals are completed, it should look like this. Next, you're going to want to grab some binder dividers. It's a very inexpensive way to make stencils. Unfortunately, my camera cut out, but you're going to want to take the paper and you're going to trim around it, tape it onto the binder divider, and then cut out the petals and the flower center in order to make our stencil. Then you're going to want to remove the paper stencil from the actual binder divider stencil because we're going to use that in order to paint the skirt. Then you're going to want to trim around that as well. It should look like this once you're done. Be sure to leave some space when you trim around the stencil, otherwise it will actually tear the stencil. Then you're going to want to take a white skirt of some kind. I used this one that I already had it. Then I just took a piece of cardboard and wrapped it in a trash bag and taped it down. This is in order to separate the different layers of the skirt so none of the paint bleeds through to the other side. Once that is in place, you're going to want to place your stencil on top of the area that the cardboard is underneath. Tape it down with some painter's tape. This will help to secure the stencil while we're painting. Then I took some fabric paint in the color Azalea and in the color Leaf Green. Next I took some stencil brushes These are specifically made for stenciling. Once you get the paint on the paintbrush, you're going to dab it on a paper towel and then dab it onto the flower center with the pink paint. You're going to want to dab up and down. This is all to prevent the paint from bleeding through the fabric, to help you have cleaner lines when stenciling. Next, I took the green paint. I did the same process and I dabbed it up and down inside the petal stencil as well. Again, this is just to prevent the paint from bleeding through and for it to have cleaner lines. The less paint the better, even if you have to go over several times. It will help to ensure crisper, cleaner lines. And you're just going to keep repeating the process all the way through until all the petals are completed. Then I took the stencil and I repeated it again in another section of the skirt. You're going to want to continue this process throughout the skirt, scattering the flowers about as you go. This is to imitate the pattern of the tightrope walker's floral skirt. Also be sure to leave some spacing in between the different flowers. You don't want any of them overlapping. Once you're done with the painting, you're going to want to let the paint set and dry for a little bit, just so that way there isn't any smudging of the paint once you lift the stencil. Or another trick is you could blow dry it with a hair dryer until it's partially dried and then go ahead and lift the stencils. That's what I end up doing later on. Great thing about this stenciling process is it could be recreated to make another stencil in the future. It's a very simple process to recreate. Another thing is you could gently wash the stencil and allow it to dry fully, and then use this flower stencil on any future DIY projects that you would like to have a floral print. Another thing I like to have on hand, as you've seen in the previous video, when I'm using fabric paint, is I always like to have some baby wipes on hand in order to not only clean off my paintbrushes, but to also clean off my fingers in order to prevent any smudging of the paint outside of the stencil. Once the stenciling is completed, your skirt should look something like this. Stay tuned to see the haunting reveal in front of the haunted mansion. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons for future uploads. Thanks for watching.
And forever.